Recording started.
Alright. So, unorthodox video. Gameplay in the background. Yes, I'm playing this live while recording this, but I'm honestly just doing this because I have no other real way to record this. Now, I do have the Jesse video pulled up, and I'm going to debunk most of the stuff Jess had said. Ozzy has spoken for themselves already. There will be a Google Doc underneath this video that I will post. There will be a small graphic warning in the Google Doc that Ozzy made. I will try to make one myself as well, showing more proof to what I say. Now, alright, we'll have this video
I
play.
want to point out that Claire had banned like some people from her server. That I have no idea who these people are, and seeing this disappoints me because it's like I don't know what these people have done, but the fact that Claire banning people because they're like, oh, they're giving information to Pinkus and all that. This is unacceptable. Honestly, this is going to the point where you shouldn't be doing this, no matter what. You really should not be doing this, and I feel like this just proves.
Alright, so starting off strong. The reason those 3 people were banned in my server is because me and Eris had done a thorough search. We had pinned 3 people that had Nitro and had barely interacted in my server. Because in the taunting screenshots sent by Pink had a Discord theme on them. And as many people will know, Discord themes are a thing that is only accessible to people with Nitro. Now, that means that we took the initiative to basically go through my server, go through it, see who had Nitro, see who had the veteran role, because we did have a veteran role, and we were receiving screenshots from Pink that were from a channel that only veterans could in fact see. And so we had done the search, concluded it was 3 people, and banned them. Now, as in Jess's video, we clearly did not ban the right person. And these people have not come back to me asking for a reason why they were banned or unbanned. One of them, however, their innocence was proven by another member of my server. So they have been since unbanned. I would like to note she will most likely talk about this later on, saying, oh, I want this drama to end. If Jess wanted this drama to end, she wouldn't have had spies in my server. Okay, I want to say that. If she wanted this drama to end, she shouldn't have had spies in my server. Because all she did is just pour more fuel into the fire and reignited the flame. And yeah, this. Here we are. I'm making a debunking video. Let's continue on.
My point more. This really proved my point a lot more. So, yeah. That being said, let's go right back to the video to past Jess. Well, never thought I had to make this type of video, but here we are. For those of you that know, this would be a response video to most of the shit surrounding me. Probably, I would say, a couple years ago, maybe recent. And this would be my, I guess, response and update on everything. Now, before I start, I want to say I have been doing well. I've been improving, changing, and I moved on from the drama because most of it.
As I said earlier, she said she moved on, when in fact she has not. In the Google Doc that Ozzy has made, where they debunk Jesse's zoophilia uh, accusations, there are screenshots that are from rather recent of Jesse attempting to do a Shota and I believe Lolly roleplay as well. And there are screenshots dating back all the way to 2020, I believe, or 2022 of my. So before I had dated Jess initially, I was dating a person named Mundy. And Mundy had since been my partner for when I first did a poly with Jess. And Jess immediately, within I believe a week, had attempted to take Mundy away from me, attempted to cheat on me, attempted to visit them in real life. As they had in the screenshots, Jess had talked about going to, and I quote, I want to get Chew Preggers to Mundy. And they also had said, I want to fuck you first, if I'm correct on what the correct quote was. It's something along that line. And at the time, both me and Mundy were 16 years of age. We were both 16 years of age. Jess fully knew about that. In fact, actually, even before I was dating Mundy, Jess had actually managed to weasel their way into having me send nudes of myself using a self pleasure object. And yeah, most of this drama could be traced all the way back to the start of a NSFW Friday Night Funkin' mod, commonly known as Friday Night Fappin'. This is where this is where Jess gained most of her traction from the mod alone. The mod has since died, thankfully, as the owner was in fact also a pedophile because at the time they had tried to meet me because they had lived rather close, and at the time I believe the Fappin mod director was 37 and I was around 16 to 17 at the time. So that's a whole nother story to bring upon.
It's just surrounded by a bunch of negativity, and I've been constantly harassed. Docs sent death threats, and after a while, things started to die out.
So I know we're not making much progress in the video, but so outside of the doxing was done to forward proper information to the proper authorities whom have not done anything. I have sent around 23 reports total and not a thing has been done, unfortunately. And honestly, I'm kind of ashamed of the Riverside Police Department for not doing anything to arrest this pedophile. And the death threats, other stuff, were from people doing this on their own terms. I did not explicitly send anyone to do this. The only time I had sent someone to do this was after Jess had sent someone to do something to me. And that's the only time where someone has been sent after Jess. Most of the people that have sent death threats and other things were on their own. I did not influence them. I did not tell them, hey, go do this. They did this on their own.
But I also want to talk about someone else who been behind the scenes causing a lot of stuff and everything. And that person would be Claire, also known as the Refined One, and her friend.
That's me.
And the reason why I want to bring this up is because Claire had been constantly harassing most of my friends. Claire also have sent a message to one of my friends, wishing my mother, who was in surgery a couple months ago, uh, for her to, die during the surgery.
All right, as for this whole thing about the said hoping that her mother had died, I wouldn't have said this if it hadn't been for the fact that Jess had actually repeatedly made fun of my deceased father. Jess had made fun or poked at it the fact that my father had passed away, and they would do it in either deteriorating ways, or they would do it as in trying to bring it up in a conversation to deteriorate me. I wouldn't have said that if she hadn't brought my father into this. And she has known that the death of my father has since caused me to harm myself and attempt to off myself. And I will not get into that, unfortunately, more because that does bring back horrible memories that I wish to not recollect. Jess, actually, on the topic of unfortunate self harm, Jess had Jess had suicide baited a lot of times. She suicide baited almost every month. Usually it was about once or twice. And each time I had gotten close to killing myself. I had gotten close to killing myself using my mother's gun. And I had self-harmed multiple times. I luckily did not cut too deep, but there are visible scars on my arm. It is thankfully, as I said, I did not cut too deep, so it's only mainly pigmentation changes on my skin and slight scarring. I have since not self-harmed for since about June, maybe. And the reason I say June was because I had attempted to take my own route out due to the fact that Pincus had been cheating on me at the time and had left me during the time of my high school graduation and also what had been my birthday. I had my high school graduation and birthday within the span of about 2 days. And having that big of a blow dealt to me, while Pink also at the time had ghosted me. They had not left while saying anything. They simply ghosted me. And they did that to someone who is mentally unstable. I am currently mentally stable at the moment. I've received help from my loving partner Eris, who has stuck with me through thick and thin, who has helped me, who has given me advice. I owe Eris a lot. They've helped me through a lot of this drama. And if it hadn't been for them, I most likely wouldn't be here making this video. Now let's get on to this because it is a 38-minute long video that Jess is making. This video is going to most likely be 50 to an hour long.
For it to go bad. And keep in mind that when I was in a relationship with Claire, I have never once ever wished for death upon their grandparents that sadly passed away. And I have never once done anything like beyond the line to threaten Claire.
So, about the threatening, Jess had threatened to, as she knew my address and I knew hers, she had threatened, when I was dating her, she had made plans to try and visit me to have intercourse with me. And after I had broken up and started turning against her, she had threatened to come to my house to quote unquote talk. And then she goes, I don't care if you stab me. I just want to talk. and in the tone she had always said it, it had scared me. I had genuinely kept a knife by my side ever since then, as unfortunately, I don't know, whenever she could make a move, she could do it at any time, and I want to be prepared. She has since made me fear for my life, and now it's begun dying down, seeing as she is still the pathetic Redditor that I've known her as. Continuing on.
And hearing that from Claire told me, she's the one that hasn't been improving, um, because
As I
of all these
explained, I
things
have.
that she is doing behind the scenes that no one else knows. And I'm not trying to paint myself as a good person, not trying to say, oh, hey, you know, I changed, I'm better
The
now.
entire addendum of this video is
I
that you're
want to
trying to
say,
paint yourself as a good
that
person.
I can't let Claire just like get away with all of this because I got.
I'm sorry, Jess, but I can't let you get away with what you did. You had groomed me, you had groomed Eris, you had groomed Ozzy, you had groomed Ross, you had groomed countless others, and I will not stand for this. Someone will take legal action against you. Eventually, you will have to pay for your crimes. You will not be able to run away. We have proof. We have a video recording of you quite literally admitting to your rape against Eris. You had admitted it on call, a call that I had recorded. And I very much will include it in a separate video or a Google Doc or a downloadable file of the clip of her admitting to it.
Outed out for the things that I have done in the past. And the first thing I want to show is um, this. So this is one of my friends communicating with Claire, and um, in this screenshot, I'm talking about how you know the no the my friend. I'm sorry, excuse me. I woke up. I'm kind of tired right now. In this screenshot would be my friend talking to Claire, asking, "Oh, like Jess and I are still friends." And this was during my birthday. As you can see, this is on October 24th. My birthday was on the 23rd.
As for this, I will link Jess's video in the bottom so you can listen along if you wish to, or to pull up the images that Jess is talking about. But in the first screenshot, it shows me asking Yumiko, Balance Within Duality, who was my partner at the time, why she was playing with Jess, because me and Eris had feared at the time. Every time Yumiko would reconnect with Jess, it would always end with either Yumiko role playing and cheating on me and Eris with Jess, Yumiko getting in a relationship with Jess and then getting manipulated, or it would end with Yumiko. Sorry, my memory isn't the greatest. I unfortunately do have a memory disability. The third was it was Yumiko always ending off with Jess being their main focus, is what I meant to say. But it was always those three things. It was either her cheating, her role playing, or her interacting. Now, in me and Eris's poly at the time, we had exclusively told Yumiko, we had told her time and time again, we have one rule for you. There were rules for me, there was rules for Eris. We had one rule for Yumi. Well, two. And that did kind of apply to the one that I was talking about. We had one rule for her. Do not interact with Jess. Do not roleplay with Jess. and she had repeatedly broken it over and over. She had been shown time and time again that she had been manipulated. And she has not since learned the fact that Jess, whenever given the chance, will attempt to manipulate you. Jess has been manipulative to people in the past. She has turned some friends of mine into foes, who then learn their ways, realize that, hey, Jess is messed up. I'm sorry for what I did. And for that, I have forgiven some people. Some others have unfortunately wronged me so bad that I cannot forgive them. And Jess has been the one to always blame.
And Claire's asking why our screenshot would be
The
kind of
script.
overprotecting. And as you can see in the screenshot, I
And in the second one, it was Yumiko saying, "Did you DM me to complain about Jess, or were you looking after me?" And I said, "Looking after you," because, and I said this in the DM, you know how I feel when you get around her. Although the comment you just made me kinda, and then I cut it off because Jess had DM'd me saying, "Stop stalking us." And I had kept Jess friended because I wanted to keep tabs on Yumiko. That was the only reason. I did not want her playing with Jess at all. That was the entire reason. That to see if she was playing with other friends. Because unfortunately, I want to distance myself from people who want to interact with her. Because more often than not, they get manipulated by Jess and turn to her side temporarily. They get manipulated and then they come back. It has always been a cycle like that with a couple people.
messaged
Skipping
Claire
forward.
right here. Um, this is all Spanish. I don't really want to translate.
So the Spanish part, which is in the next screenshot, I flunked my Spanish, yet I still remember my Spanish skills. Whenever I'm angry, I tend to type in Spanish, or at least translate it into Spanish, because my mind is able to process some Spanish writing. And yeah, she had gotten me angry to the point where I had started speaking Spanish to her. And yeah, there's not too much for this screenshot.
It mine order. On how Pink were doing all these. Claire being
And the next one is me explaining that I was starting to get over the ordeal and actually started getting somewhat happy. And then I learned that Yumiko had actually started becoming somewhat of a stream guest or a stream partner. A stream partner, sorry, because I am playing this game, Visteria. There is a boss that's at spawn, but I had looked at Jess's Twitch. I had saw that Yumiko had appeared. So I'm assuming Jess was setting up to start streaming with Yumiko. And more often than not, the only people that she would I think she would stream with is her partners. Which I'm assuming Yumiko more than likely is currently dating Jess. Because they both have a rather bunch of taboo kinks that both fall with each other. So all I could say is congratulations, Yumi. You found someone that's perfect for you. I hope they get ripped away and locked in a jail cell for many, many years to where they will turn old and you will no longer recognize them.
extremely like with so
Skipping
much,
forward.
which I will be showing you in a bit. But
So in this next one, it's Yumiko explaining, I would like a response instead of you jumping to assumptions and proceeding to shame me for things that may or may not be true. Yes, I am friends with Jess, and yes, I have been featured in her stream, but how the hell did you jump to such conclusions that I am hoeing for her? The reason I had assumed that she was most likely hoeing for Jess is because every time that Yumiko starts interacting with Jess, she is always roleplayed. Yumiko has a very, very high roleplay drive, and more than often or not, when the slightest hint of a roleplay is being started, she will attempt to roleplay. And the reason I also know is because at the time we had allowed Yumiko to not roleplay with anyone else, and we had her leave her roleplay servers because she didn't roleplay with them and she didn't want to start anything else up. So, knowing her and how manipulative Jess is, she was most likely roleplaying with her.
Right now, uh,
Skipping
going
forward.
to constantly harass me, my friends, and everyone connected to me. And I,
So in this next one, it's Yumika saying, first of all, that's a bold assumption, and second, we've been talking about this, Claire. I've had friends that have been much worse than Jess. I wouldn't be friends with Jess if she was the same as before. You honestly need to fucking get your mind sorted out and chop the Jess shit entirely. And in which I told Yumiko, you forget how manipulative she is. She just loves keeping a happy mask on, and you know damn well it's not a fucking change, it's a facade. Jess has shown, even there during my entire time I had dated Jess, they had not once told me about their personality disorder. So that has led me to believe that Jess has made up that disorder in an attempt to say, "Oh, it's because I have a disorder. It's I'm they're trying to use it as an excuse." Jess has not shown to have a personality disorder. Eris has not told me about any kind of personality disorder, and Eris had actually dated Jess longer than me, so they would have known at that point. Unless Jess has just been a very secretive person about their disorder, which has led me to believe that they're using that as a way to get their way. I know Jess has not changed because actually in recent screenshots, from a Minecraft server she hosted for a brief while that me and Pink had played on, Jess had a spray paint mod which featured Shotokan images that were Jess's OC and a Shotokan. And because the spray paint mod had a feature that made it so all paintings were public unless you turned on a specific check mark that would make it so they aren't public and were private instead only to you. Continuing on.
which I can go back and fix that. But you know, as years went on and months, days, I've been working on myself. I've been going to the gym lately. I've been talking to close friends. I also been going to therapy, and
So I know for a fact Jess has not gone to therapy, and they're friends. So I want to talk about a specific friend of theirs, a friend by the name of. There's actually two. I do not remember the other one's name, so I will not talk about them. But I know one of their IRL friends is named Gilbert, and Gilbert knows entirely about this Jessica Frost drama and has chose to support Jess, even though Jess had actively admitted to them being a pedophile to Gilbert. And I honestly want to say, shame on you, Gilbert. You've. Because I know Jess is going to show this to Gilbert. And I know you're going to see this, Jess. Because you're going to have some little spy in my server. I want to say, shame on you, Gilbert. Shame on you for trusting a pedophile. You had your little brother in the same car as Jess. You know very well Jess could have taken your little brother. Right, I've seen you. You're a strong guy. I want you to protect your little brother from Jess. I do not want your little brother to become a victim of Jess. I'm saying this because I want you to make the right choice. Help us get Jess in behind bars. It's I know Jess is your friend. I know Jess has been a long-time friend for you, but you have to realize there's a right and a wrong for everything. And it is wrong of you to be supporting and being a friend to her when you know she is actively being a pedophile.
I've been improving myself, saying, "Hey, what I done in the past was wrong, and I'm not that person anymore in the past."
Which unfortunately
And
you
there's a lot of
still
people
are.
still bringing up the things in the past because they're saying, "Oh, you're still into this." I'm not. I'm honestly not. Because stuff behind the scenes. Uh,
Alright, this is to another screenshot of me and Yumi's DMs. Yumi had said, the only manipulative one has been you recently, telling me which ones I could befriend and tell not and what to do and not do. I don't care if you hate a certain someone, but you can't tell me who I could be friends with, you stubborn little. If there's a person to shame, it will be you because you never seem to stop the constant BS of yours. And I had told her, first of all, that's a bold assumption, and second, we've been talking about this, Claire, which was what I said in quotes, and that I've had friends much worse than Jess, end quote. So, Yumiko, if you've had worse friends than Jess, you should have known and realized the signs that Jess is most likely manipulating you yet again. I don't. Me and Eris didn't tell you who you could and couldn't have friends. The only person we wanted you to stay away from and not be friends with is Jesse. That was the only concern we had with friends, and that is Jesse. Continuing on.
um, Sometimes they've been, I believe, from what I was told from other people, that Claire have constantly been like kind of like an eagle, always watching people.
Because I have to keep watch over people because I need to know who's a spy, who is not, and who is friends with Jess and also friends with me. Because I know at any moment they can immediately turn on me and just start going into Jesse spy mode. And I keep an eagle's watch over my server because my server is something I care deeply about. My community is something I care deeply about. I draw art, I write my stories, I write my character lores. In the past, Jess has also tried to say that the Ozzies that I've made are hers when I own the creative copyright to the characters. She's only simply given me the concept. A concept is not owning the creative rights to a character. Continuing on, let's go to the next
Making sure they
screenshot.
don't hang out with hurt people.
And as you probably heard for a split second, I don't want people hanging out with Jess because I know how manipulative you can be. As I said, Jess has manipulated people time and time again. Jess had manipulated me out of 1,183 US dollars because I had took pity on them because they kept on going, I will pay you back, Claire, I'll pay you back. Let me just get a job, I will pay you back. I kept on buying them food, kept buying them game passes, kept buying them Robux, kept buying them games because I did it all in the name of love. I had done it because I was promised, hey, I'd be paid back. Jess was my partner. And I will say this, I genuinely did love you, Jess. You could have had an actual future with me, but you chose to instead be an asshole. And I'm not saying this is like, oh, if Jess wasn't this and that, I would have stayed with them. I kept my mouth shut. I honestly realized how wrong you were. If I had been older, sure. But because I was young, I'm and naive, I had come to slowly realize what you were doing is wrong, and that it's something that should be dealt with.
For their enjoyment.
Let's skip forward
To
to
be
another
true,
screen.
like I have.
So this screenshot is Yumiko, which I'm assuming she's been manipulated again, of her saying, again, Jess is not the same as you think she is. I can see their facade if she used one. I learned from my past mistakes, but you seemingly don't one fucking bit. Calling me out for horrible shit because you assume it. And because I said you have not talked about that with me. She said I talked with Eris about it and mentioned it to you. And I said, yeah. And she says, apparently you don't listen or forgot about it. Because I told her a mention is not talking about it. Mentioning something is completely different than talking about it. A mention is something that you say once and then maybe forget unless you're a detective and you're trying to get evidence.
Have, for example, I have bipolar depression. I have psychopathic disorder.
Now, the bipolar depression and the psycho tendencies I can confirm. Jess has self-harmed herself out of the blue for no reason, and her depression had came in big waves, very big waves that had affected me, and she had done really nothing to apologize for it after.
And I have a DID, which is identity disorder. I switch my identity a lot, and
Her, the only thing that I can maybe say that she did have an identity disorder was the fact she would turn into your average Redditor and go, I feel a shadow icy coming out from me. Shadow icy. Oh, he's very angry. Oh, what the showball? Oh, he's gonna come out. You're making me angry. Shadow Icy doesn't like this. But yet again, I feel like she kept on using roleplay as a way to escape. She would try to roleplay in a very serious conversation, and she would never take serious conversations seriously.
I'm not saying that like like some people who would make it up saying I have this because I know.
In
No,
which
I
you
actually
are
been to
most
the
likely making
doctor
them up.
and they diagnosed me.
Unless you can show actual proof from a doctor's note that you have these disorders, in which in this video you should have shown. I've shown the fact that I have my disorders. I've blurred out what is sensitive, but I've shown in my official high school IEP and which got verified by a doctor that I do have indeed my disorders. We have not seen any confirmation whatsoever outside of the word that you've said that you have your disorders.
With these type of issues.
Let's continue on to the
Ooh,
next
and
screenshot.
she had done to me.
The
Brother,
next one is Yumiko saying, you know what, do what you want, I don't care about me, paint me as a villain all you want. And to which I had responded, you won't listen to me, you won't listen to Eris, and which I will quote what Eris said. Eris had said, Yumi, you're choosing to be friends with a known pedophile and my rapist, because Jess had raped Eris. And in the quote, they continue saying, even though they've shown time and time again they won't change. Then Yumiko, refusing to believe the harsh truth, kept on saying, just shut up, I don't need a friend who simply can't let go of the past. And which I point blank told her, you just don't want to believe what we say.
I haven't done that with her. She had done also a
For the
uh
next part, this is Ozzy, which in the doc that she has written, I will let her defend herself because she's done a good job of defending herself. She has debunked almost every single thing.
and with someone else from
So let's skip ahead.
comment. Or no, they asked me to re-add them, and Ozzy using Ozzy as one because I have, like I said, I have shown.
Okay, so so there's one screenshot left, and then it gets to the YouTube video, or it's this current screenshot, one more, and then the YouTube video. This screenshot is me telling my server, please block Yumiko or Balance Within Duality because they've proven me an enemy against my bright community, and they have falsely accused me, Eris, and Ozzy of being pedophiles, and that I did not tolerate this behavior, and I'm considering a threat against my server. And in the same thing I had put that Jesse, Balance Within Duality, and Pinkus has been verified to work together. Pink, being the sass child he is, I will expose this in this video. Pinkus has actually been actively making Roblox Rule 34 since he was around the age of 14. Most of his followers do not know this, and I'm here to say this fully. Pinkus has been a minor for most of his Roblox Rule 34 career. Only October 30th was his birthday, when he turned 18 this year, which I'm making this video currently on November 15th. So he is only a couple days into being 18. Now, the announcement of me telling everyone to block Yumiko was because she had gone to Mega V3, a prominent anti-Jess person in my server, and tried to say that me, Eris, and Ozzy are pedophiles. And I just want to bring this up. Why would I be a pedophile after all the work that I've gone through to get Jess arrested, to spread the word on how Jess is a pedophile? Your logic is flawed. You simply did not think of the consequences. Alongside this, Yumi had went and outed herself as a pedophile, saying and admitting that she liked uh fucking she liked Shodakan and Lolicon. And she outed it herself. She could be saying it just to say it. But I with what I've seen while dating Yumi, she has admitted to me multiple times that she does have a age kink for on the younger side with her current age of being 24, and she has admitted to me that she likes people within the range of 15 to around 19, which for her country, which is currently, let me search it up, the age of consent law in Austria is 14, unfortunately, but globally, the age of consent is 18 on the internet. Now, as an American, I do not agree with their laws on having the age of consent set to 14, and many other countries are realizing that that's a bad idea. Japan has actually, which has been a hotspot for pedophilia, has since raised its age of consent from 13 to 18, or around 17, I think. I can't remember properly off the top of my head. But many countries are realizing this, and Yumiko should also realize this, that is wrong. And so, as I said, she went into TLDR. She went out of the way to try to call me, Eris, and Ozzy pedophiles, and try to bring herself down with us. In which her plan went horrifically wrong. She did not, in fact, bring us down. She instead brought herself down and has added herself as a pedophile as well. That's why I said I'm glad that you found someone perfect for you. To pedophiles dating each other. Which, unfortunately, I will say, Yumiko, you've been placed on our enemy list, and your information will be forwarded to the proper authorities in your country for the crimes that you are committing. We are just rounding up information against you. At least I am. Continuing on. Sorry,
Screenshot.
I want to additionally say, sorry for my voice being raspy. I've recently drunk an energy drink, and I am recording this at 5:48 in the morning because I've been born a natural night owl. I've, as I said, had an energy drink, and I had woken up very late today, so I have the energy to do this video. Continuing on.
And no, and Claire,
The last image was because Yumiko. So in my server, we have 3 separate zones. We have a neutral zone, we have a 17 minus zone, and a 18 plus zone. The neutral zone is for 17 plus and 18 plus users to interact. There is a strict no NSW policy in the neutral zone and in the 17 negative zone. In the 18 plus zone, of course, NSW is allowed and is freely unrestricted as long as it's not set within any kind of illegal borders or anything that is considered too taboo or not safe for life. And in this last screenshot, I told her to shut up because she had been talking about a very NSW topic in the 17 minus VC, which I had been streaming a game within, and there had been other minors within the VC. Now going back to the video.
DM from
and skipping ahead.
Toastify and from
This last part, she's showing the videos. On the Toastify stream, she had actively outed herself as a pedophile. She admitted to it. She tried to say that she was a good person in the stream, and she failed miserably. This was when I was dating her, and I was unfortunately brainwashed by her. The two interviews underneath the Toastify stream. So when you search up Jesse Frost, there's three things that come up: the Toastify stream, and two interviews from Foxy Gamer, which Foxy Gamer has actually made another interview after those for my side. This is now a continuation. There originally was going to be, this was going to be a mega video made by Foxy, but Foxy could quite literally not contain the stress of this situation because Jess has quite literally affected the mental health of Foxy to the point where he's actually gone sort of cuckoo and has gotten extremely angered over this situation. The fact that Jess has actually actively tried to defame me. The first interview, which is the one with color, that is not the Testify stream, was when Jess had been manipulating Foxy, and Foxy at the time had been thinking that he was just doing a regular interview to was for Jess. In the one above it, that is a monochrome, is exposing Jess for what he had done, or what Jess had done, and how he had been manipulated. And then, as I said, he had a third one, which was the interview for me and other members within my community at the time.
Foxy Gamer. Um, but
So in the while she was skimming through the videos, the video where with my response and other things was called the Claire review. And then in the last thing, she goes to a screenshot of Pinkus Pinkas. In those screenshots on the Twitter page, my Twitter page, I had shown that he had actively went and made fun out of my disabilities, and he went at me. And actually, Pinkus at the time was still 17, and he had actually a friend within Goat Condos, who I will not name because he's shown that he doesn't really fucking care. He was paid for it. And he was paid to leak information from Goat Condos because I was talking about saying, hey, if I had Pink's models, I'd get into making RR34, which is true because the model Pink has had made of me is very high quality. And, I would have gotten into model making and rigging and all that other jazz. But Pink had actively went to after I showed a little optimism, he proceeded to insult me, saying that I don't know the first thing about anything coming to R34, and then actively went to insult my memory problems. And so I had made a call-out post against him. And yeah, so that's why that was posted. Now, I want to bring in something on this tweet, is that I believe Jess in the video goes and says that Claire blocked me after I had made a reply. The reason I had blocked you, Jess, is because of the mere fact that you went to reply to my tweet after I had shown that I had no interest in interacting with you, and then you proceeded to plug your Twitch into my replies, which I'm sorry to say, but I'm not no free advertisement for you, Jess. I will not have you advertising your Twitch channel on my Twitter account. My Twitter account is something where I interact and post my art. That's all I really use it for. That and finding images that I do indeed like. And continuing on. I'm bleeding.
at a point where, like, do you not get tired of it?
Oh, well, I conveniently skipped to this part. Jess, I want to say this because, as I said earlier in this video, I know you're going to see this, and I know you're going to show it to all your little friends. I have gotten tired of this. I have grown very tired of this. I want this to end, but it keeps on crawling up to me like a parasite. Alongside that, if you truly, I said this in the canceled Foxy interview, but if you wanted this to end, if you truly wanted this to end, you wouldn't have had spies on my server. You wouldn't have had any sort of spy on my server. But instead you did, which meant that you still wanted to keep this flame going. So, if anything, you were the one who reignited the flame. You, my friend, are the one that wanted to reignite this. And look at where we are right now. Making a video based off a video that you made. Pardon me?
Do you not get tired? Have
Skipping ahead to the very
cost
end.
you. It's all been you, and you want to call yourself a good person.
I do admit I have many wrongs in the past. I will admit that. I have had many wrongs. But those are wrongs that I have righted. And some of them were in the right place when I did those wrongs. You, Jess, have done wrongs that cannot be righted and that cannot be healed in any way. You've dug yourself into a hole that you cannot escape from. You've done a fool's errand and dug a hole straight down with no way to get out. And all I want to say is congratulations. You've made this problem bigger than it already should have been. And there's no one really to blame but you. You tried to make yourself look like somewhat of a good person, and in the end, you've only made yourself look worse. And all I could say is really just congratulations. You have indeed played yourself. Eventually, the authorities will come knocking, and you will be arrested. This is your own doom that you've been making. And you have no one to thank but yourself. Closing this video. So, ending off, I want to say, so this is my final message to Jess. I'm sorry for all the things that I've done in the past that may have been over the top. But I simply cannot excuse you for all the crimes you've done and friends you have threatened. You've saved my nudes. You've saved Ross's nudes. You've saved Eris's nudes. You've saved Yumiko's nudes. You have taken nudes from multiple people and have distributed them. You had sent my nudes from when I was a minor to Clover. You had spread that around. You had went out of your way to go into your deleted folders to retrieve nudes from Ross, who then, after they broke up because they realized that the relationship they had with you was wrong, you threatened to go and shoot them with your Glock, which I want to remind you in this video, you had claimed has been illegally modified with a full auto modification and a silencer, which Riverside, the place you reside, is in California, and I want to remind you, in California, a full auto modification for any pistol of any kind is a felony. Alongside owning any kind of suppressor attachment, whether it is in use or out of use, or just simply having it, in California, and it is indeed functional, which you say you have for your Glock, so that is assuming that it is fully functional, that is also another felony. So even if all this other things get debunked, you have three confirmed crimes against you at minimum. That is the 2 felonies that I just explained, and you admitting to raping Eris. As for the friends of Jess, because I know she's most likely gonna watch this on a stream, I really hope you all have made the right choice. I want you to just sit there, think for a second, Is this really the best idea to be friends with someone who's been actively a pedophile in the past? And though they may have shown some change, they have completely shown little to no change in their past and their likes and kinks. Is it really the best decision for you to be friends with them? Sure, Jess may have helped you, but most of the time Jess helps people to get her way. Hold on. Sorry, I had to sneeze. I'm gonna upload this video raw too. There will be no editing. This is just gonna be a completely raw video. There's gonna be no cuts. There's gonna be no fancy magic. There's gonna be no PNG tubers, which the artist who made your PNG tuber also knows about your past crimes, and has agreed to take down any and all art they've made for you. And we will be informing them that they do still indeed own the copyright license to the drawing that they did of your character. Even if it is a drawing of your character, they still own the artistic creative copy license, which means they can revoke it for you and copy strike your Twitch channel. So I'd advise against using that PNG tuber for a while. And at the end of the video, which is now, I want to say some last words. To you, Miko, you have made many mistakes, some of which were forgivable, some of which are now unforgivable. I will not be looking to make any kinds of friends with you in the future. Eris might give you a second chance for how much they care about you, but I will not give you a second chance. Any ship of any kind of friendship has sailed. You've screwed yourself in any kind of friendship with me, any kind of partnership with me, dating with me. That is gone. Ship's never coming back. For Jesse, all I want to say is expect illegal actions, and it will be coming. It's going to come when you least expect it to. Not saying when, because I'm not the one doing it. As for me, I want to say in the end of this video, the love of my life, Eris, I love you. She has helped me more than anyone could. She has helped me escape death multiple times, in which times Jess is not. It's because Eris had been there to talk me out of it instead of Jess. As for my mental health, it's been slowly improving. I'm meeting happy people. I'm leading a happy life. I'm going through my college. And I'm doing what I can to improve my mental health, and my mental fortitude is in remembering things. My life has been stable somewhat recently. It has only been shaken up due to your recent clowning, basically, Jess. Outside of that, everything for me has been going great. But for you, I'm sure it's been one hell of a roller coaster. As you said it, people will not let go. And that's going to be the harsh truth. People will not let go of the shit that you've done. This is stuff you've done, and you've known that it will cling to you. You throw a wet wad of paper towel at the wall. What does it do? It sticks. Except you threw that wad of paper thousands of times. You've made a new paper each time, thrown it at the wall. You've basically made a mural at this point. And with that, I will now be ending the video. I'm not putting any plugs here. I'm not doing any funny business. this is the end of the video. I hope all who watch this video come to realize how much of a horrible person Jess is and how much they have ruined many lives. I hope any friends of hers will now reconsider their friendship with Jess. And any of my allies will now come to see why I hate Jess so much. This is the refined one, Claire, signing off.